Yeah, because this one conversation.
It's just one single
Uh,
conversation could last hours.
no, there's one conversation that I want to talk about, and it's a decision that happened, and like it actually pisses me off right now.
Which decision?
Hamilton got fined for the seatbelt.
Oh, what, really?
Yeah, and Verstappen didn't get fined for the what's it called? Yeah, Verstappen got a penalty for something. I forget what's it called.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. All right, well, before we
But
keep on going, hello everyone.
I don't-
This is a new segment. We may or may not be doing. This is my friend Gustavo. Say hello. He'll be my co-host for this segment.
yeah, hello, hello.
Yeah, and we're just gonna be talking about F1. Just recently, today actually, was the Brazilian Grand Prix, and we saw a really amazing show from a lot of different drivers. But yeah, what you were saying? Oh yeah, there was Verstappen was fined for park fermé incident, which is like the park fermé regulations are the regulations that a car has to have, or just like the setup of a car. It needs to have that same setup from
Yeah,
qualifying for the race, so you can't change it after qualifying.
yeah,
And
yeah.
same thing happened similar with Hamilton, right? For
Hamilton, then he got for at first he got disqualified because of an engine
no,
that
it was the
apparently
DRS. No,
was it.
yeah, it was DRS. Here, I have the post on from what's it called? Instagram at the moment. Open. Yes, it says Lewis Hamilton is disqualified from Friday's qualifying session for a technical infringement related to DRS system.
Yes, yeah. Okay,
For yeah,
but at the same time, it didn't matter for us. Hamilton, everybody knew that. Let's be honest.
yeah,
No, it
Hamilton.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, Hamilton did a really, really amazing job for today's Brazilian Grand Prix, all the way from the back to first place, battling through the grid. It was an insane show to watch.
Verstappen was 10 seconds behind Hamilton
That
at the
is
end.
insane.
But the thing is, Hamilton did get fined $5,000 for
That is,
undoing seatbelts on a cool down lap. He got
hmm.
fined for that. I still don't understand why. That's pretty fucking dumb.
Well, I mean, it could be just a FIA type situation where like not really a good idea to have your seatbelt off, especially while you're still driving your car in a busy circuit. So it can be very dangerous if that does actually go wrong. So it's safe. It's just safety reasons that they might want to just keep the seatbelt on for any time that you're on the track.
So I have here saying, decision $5,000 fine for Hamilton with a further $20,000 suspend for 2021 Brazil
Wow.
or F1, I should say. So
Hmm.
that's for Hamilton right there.
Damn. And
And
how much was the fine for Verstappen?
he didn't get no fine. He apparently the penalty was he. I lost it. But it
Oh
was
my.
for forward defense driver thing or whatever it's called. I don't remember what it was.
Wait, for who? Verstappen or
Verstappen. Homer was talking about it. Apparently, he
mm,
said it's fair that he didn't get the penalty, but at the same time, people were mad that Verstappen
yeah.
didn't get the penalty, but Hamilton did just because he took off his seatbelt.
Mhm. Seems like the original meme was that the FIA was on Hamilton's side, but this time definitely on the side of Verstappen, removing that fine off of Verstappen and just applying a fine onto Hamilton.
Yep, yep, yep. And of course, Lewis Hamilton, driver of the day.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
of course,
I
definitely.
mean,
I mean, that amazing showing all the way from last place. Or did he start in last
Yeah.
place?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't 10.
Yeah,
P10.
10th. Yeah, P10,
Yeah.
all the way from P10, all the way from P10 to first place to win that whole championship.
I
Not
mean,
championship, but
Verstappen
Grand
was
Prix.
in first place. He was doing well,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I honestly don't know how he got second. It was actually doing great, but I'm guessing it was just a lack of his pace. If it was lacking, like he wasn't. I'm guessing he got like what saying he had too much confidence in himself.
Yeah.
Like he could
I
win,
mean,
but then I mean, I shouldn't say that because everybody should get confidence, or
yeah, you
should be
should always
confident
have.
driving.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but
I think
you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's just the fact like whenever Hamilton gets that energy to just push on, he just doesn't stop. He is such a beast. Whenever it comes from, he's like, okay, I'm in last place. Not anymore. I'm just gonna win this whole championship. We've seen this a lot in previous races and previous Grand Prix. He's just insane like that. He just pushes through the limit.
yeah. But there's one thing I want to talk about. It's
Mhm.
it's about Paris. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I he's doing great. I wouldn't say he's not. He's doing bad or whatever.
yeah, he's
But
definitely up there at the current moment. He's been up there with Bottas and Hamilton, just competing for the championship. But go on.
I feel like he needs to pass by Bottas because if Bottas and Hamilton keep getting the top threes, there's no way Red Bull could win. And if they do, it's all because of Verstappen. It's not gonna be, oh, Paris did it too. No, it's never. Right now, it's not gonna be Paris, Paris, Paris. It's gonna just be Verstappen saying, "Oh yeah, he got first place, he got second place," and then you see Paris, he got like what below fifth and down.
Hmm.
But I mean, I personally think he should catch up because he's the one that wanted to be in Red Bull, and he
Definitely.
needs to, you know, prove it that he could actually be in Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, on previous races, he has shown a lot of insane drive to just win a championships and just get high placements. But recently, he's been a little lacking in the last few races. It's kind of sad to see. I mean, he's still obviously an amazing driver. He's just at least top five drivers at the current moment. But he needs to, as you said, he needs to push more if Red Bull wants to get that championship. Red Bull is currently behind in points versus Mercedes. Mercedes is really, confident with their placements at the moment. Um, but yeah, Red Bull is behind. If they don't, if as you said, Checo doesn't push for it, he's gonna, it's gonna
Okay,
go against the
yeah, I
team.
got it. So, Toto believes that the decision not to penalize Max Verstappen for his turn fourth defense against Lewis Hamilton was laughable. So when Hamilton was trying to when he catched up
Hmm.
outside of the turn four, they were both breaking off, and then they got out of the track. And
Hmm.
Hamilton on the radio was saying like he called the move crazy what Verstappen was trying to do because I'm guessing he was like how do I say this he
He
would
was,
try to like hit him to go at the
yeah,
other side
hmm,
and then of course Hamilton didn't stop and he just kept going. He just hit
yeah,
Verstappen hit the rear wing of Hamilton's, but
ah,
he still kept going. But that's where people were mad that he didn't get that penalty.
hmm,
But
yeah.
Hamilton did, But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He wins.
He still won. Yeah, no, that seems like it should have a penalty. Like if we know Verstappen is a pretty aggressive driver in his driving style, he just loves to go really deep into corners. We saw this in, was it Monza, when both Hamilton and Verstappen crashed into each other. The
Yes.
defense from Hamilton and the aggressiveness from Verstappen just made them interact and just bounce on top of each other. So we know Verstappen is a pretty aggressive driver. Of course, he hasn't gotten that many interactions, not many hits, but like this race itself proves is like Verstappen, he'll push others to the limit, or like it might be a little too aggressive and might go against regulation. That's why there was the discussion about the FIA ruling towards Verstappen getting that penalty removed or not. And yeah,
Well, let's talk about the other people. We can't just be talking about them. You know what I'm saying? So of
definitely.
course, third place Bottas, fourth place Perez. We already talked about him.
Yeah,
Fifth
Bottas
place Leclerc.
doing wait. Bottas doing really good in the Brazilian Grand Prix. He got first place in that sprint. He did really amazing in the
Yeah,
qualifyings.
yeah,
He's been doing very well these last few races. Um, as you know, as saying, we need when a team wants to win a championship, they need to have good partners. And Bottas showing that he is a really good partner for Hamilton at the moment. Carrying those points for at least those extra 3 points from the sprint over for the championship, so that Mercedes can get that advantage. But also getting a third
yeah.
place in the Grand Prix against Verstappen and Hamilton. Really good showing from those drivers at the moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fifth place Leclerc, of course, Ferrari.
The Ferraris are doing
He's
really amazing this year. Like I am a Ferrari fan. I love Ferrari as a team and just as a car manufacturer, and seeing Ferrari really bringing up their stats for this year alone, brings a smile to my face. Like they're doing super good this year.
sixth place, of course, Carlos Sainz. He's
Yeah,
still
signs, of course.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gasly, Ocon, they're doing fine
Esteban
too.
Ocon, yeah, they're
They're,
they're actually doing really well this year too.
yeah,
Especially Gasly has been doing a lot of showing. AlphaTauri just in general has been doing really good this year. They've been
yeah.
pushing very far.
Alonso, same thing, same thing.
Yeah,
They
Alonso doing really
win.
well.
They could get like top three if somehow it's a miracle happens.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're
yeah.
lucky enough. Yeah.
But
Um.
I think for the constructor championship, definitely it's a very tight battle between Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren and Ferrari. Those two are the biggest teams at the moment. Fighting for that constructors championship, trying to get that win for teams together. So it would be
Uh,
very difficult for like the lower teams like Alpine and
yeah.
um, Williams or any of the other lower teams to actually catch up at this point, because they're very far apart. They're like what was it, like 100-ish points between each rivalry. So yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like Alonso can only win if it's raining because we've seen him getting top three every time it rains.
Oh yeah, no,
Like
Alonso's
he's
a really good
perfectly
wet driver.
on driving when it's raining. But going on Norris, I don't.
Norris is doing really amazing this year too. Like all these drivers, all the young drivers are doing really good this year. Like it's
Yeah,
showing
but
that they have potential for the next few years when the older drivers do retire eventually. For example, Kimi Räikkönen retiring this year. Vettel and Alonso and Hamilton will be the oldest drivers by next year. So they may have a shorter. They may have like just a few years left. I mean, Vettel himself said that he probably won't be racing in the year 2025. So yeah.
so right now there's like, how do we want to say it? Um, there's like something going on between Norris and Daniel Ricciardo because Daniel got 19th place,
Mhm.
and they were giving him cause that apparently, as he said it, they were confused, like they weren't good. And
Oh.
I'm guessing Norris was like, it's not their fault. You should have this, you should be doing this. But you never see them, mad at each other because they're good friends. But at the same time, everybody has their bad days. No one ever, someone gets like all the way 20th place. You're not gonna tell, oh, you're bad. Just
Mhm.
maybe you should had a bad day that day. Now,
Yeah.
Haas. Okay, no.
Okay, pause it.
There's one thing I have a friend, right? He that's his team. That's his favorite team, Haas.
Ah, yeah,
But
yeah.
they gotta step it up, man. Like, okay,
They're,
we tell him that he's trash. They're trash, and of course he gets mad. But I mean,
the stats show
the,
it. Like Haas is doing
it
so
shows it.
badly. They've been doing so badly the last 2 years. Like, at least when they had Roman and uh, Nico, they were doing. Oh, no, not Nico. Roman and who else was it? I keep forgetting. I always forget his name. When they had Roman and how can I forget? How can I forget his name? Do you remember?
Mm, 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 mm. But I
You
would say
searching up
that
right now?
Williams is better than them.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah. No,
yeah,
well, obviously, like George Russell's doing really good this year. He showed off his skills earlier in a
yeah,
couple other few races. Um, and yeah.
yeah. Stroll again, 20 plays on Aston Martin.
Stroll,
He
yeah,
gotta keep up the pace if he wants to be, and
yeah,
any of the
yeah,
other teams that he wants to be.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
we got
Stroll's a good
Alpha.
driver, but like there's a lacking of showing at the moment from Stroll. He was doing really good the last few years, but just this year alone, he hasn't really given as much. It might have been the shift from like BWT racing to Aston Martin. The ownership shift, where switch over to Aston Martin. Though Aston Martin has a pretty good pedigree for racing. So far, not
Yeah,
really
but
showing much for
I mean,
F1.
you're in there for a reason. You wanna prove to other people, you know, that you could do it.
Mhm.
But they got Ricardo and Stroll got how do you say it? The last place because they got disqualified due to,
Mhm.
well, I'm guessing you know why. The
I
cars
actually.
are whack.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't really get to hear all the news on F1 because I mostly just stay caught up with the highlights and whatever's on Instagram at the moment. So I know that you have Twitter and you're keeping up with F1 very closely. I don't at the moment have that close interaction. So
So yeah, so I'm getting that. Uh, yeah, Lando Norris tense tussle with Daniel Ricciardo not making it easy. They have both had a rare disagreement for the track position,
hmm
and but they're talking about this at the French Grand Prix. So they're still talking about this. They're still having like how do you say it?
a dispute
Tensions
between each
between
other.
them. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Mm,
I mean,
but I
like
mean,
for these drivers, they only get they only get like 3 days to actually discuss. I mean, to actually like physically discuss how they should create a plan to like actually execute a proper race. And even on the race, even in qualifying, sometimes things can go wrong. So like plans or disputes for each different race can just go on for months because they only have 3 days to solve that issue on on the actual track and show improvements or just show that the plan that they want to make is actually working or whoever was right or wrong. And so many different factors can lead to one plan being more right and one plan being more wrong, though the basis of each plan might be better or not.
mm, but just on the sprint, um, a single car cost Daniel Ricciardo on qualifying the top. How do you say it? Top five, I should say.
Whoa.
Uh, apparently, uh, he was uh he got to 11th place due to like a ruined signal decision on first lap. So they told him to do something in first lap, and then that messed him up all over.
Whoa.
And they call right now. Well, what I'm getting out of this is that they call him one of the losers in the race. He
hmm
started in eighth and he finished down in 11th.
Whoa. Three place.
So
movement.
In the sprint, they're calling him the loser of the race. That's
Well, yeah, I mean, a sprint isn't really like an actual Grand Prix. Like you see these sprints, like really short, just 24 laps, pure action, no stops, barely any stops in general. Um, these drivers just trying to get those extra points, and if you have no stops, no strategies, it's just pure race and run. If your team gives you like not proper directions or just directions that leave you confused, just a slight confusion could just separate you from the race, and it can just mess you up, especially in such a short race where it's a sprint, not an actual Grand Prix. When a Grand Prix, there's like time that you can actually invest into the race, and then afterwards just fix up whatever issue you have at the moment for a
so he
strategy.
lost.
So
He lost 2 positions at the beginning of the race.
oh yeah.
Like it was literally just the first lap, and they gave him a wrong call, and he messed
Mhm.
that up, and
Yeah, that's like one of the big things in F1 is like just one singular bad decision, one singular mess up, and that can just mess up your whole thing. Like one pit stop that took a little bit too long messes you up for the rest of the race. One wrong call on what you should do to defend somebody could mess you up like 50 placements. It's just like one small thing can lead to a whole championship victory or loss. So yeah, that's like people like one mess up from your team could just lead you to messing up the whole race. So it's really important to have that clear team communication to actually have good placements for a race, or in this case the sprint where he lost so many placements.
Yeah. So the next race, of course, is in Qatar Grand Prix.
Hmm.
Next week. Hopefully, this time, Mercedes can still, keep it up with the top three. We know they would.
Hmm.
But Paris needs to, step it up and
Yeah.
be the top three, beat Bottas, and if they do, if Verstappen and Paris get top three, they could actually catch up on Mercedes on the points,
Hmm.
and Red Bull eventually will win. But right now, uh, Mercedes on top with Bottas and Hamilton, of course.
Hmm.
Um, Today's race was insane. Lewis Hamilton
Yeah,
first,
definitely.
second Verstappen, third Bottas, of course. 25 points, 2018.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that should cover everything at the moment.
I will say like the battle for first place on this senior drivers championship. Verstappen, Hamilton, 14 points difference. This is such a close lead for Verstappen. 14 points could literally just be a difference between first and then fourth place. Like super close statistics at the moment that could literally just, as we said earlier, like one mess up from Verstappen could lead to the whole championship going over back to the lead to Hamilton. And like there's only just a few races left. How many races are there left? Isn't there like just 5 to 6 more races, I would imagine? I mean, there's
Mm.
Qatar, obviously there's Abu Dhabi, Azerbaijan, really, or did we go Azerbaijan earlier? I don't really remember.
No, it's we just have 3 left.
We only have
It's
three
Qatar,
races
yeah,
left.
3 races left.
3 races left, 14 points for the whole championship. This is a real close championship between Hamilton and Verstappen. And yeah, no,
Yeah.
this can go any way. Like as you said, like one mess up, one good call, one bad call can lead to one or the other just gaining that whole championship over the other.
That's what I'm saying that uh Paris needs to be in the top three because okay we have Mercedes 521.5,
Mhm.
uh Red Bull 510.5 second place, Ferrari 287.5. Okay, now the rest of the other teams there's no way
Yeah, there's no
nobody
way for
gets
them to
there.
actually get
Yeah,
up to top
but
three.
but uh Haas 0 points, Alfa Romeo 11, Williams 23, Aston Martin 68, and
Haas all the way at the
AlphaTauri
bottom.
11 12, Alpine 11 12, McLaren 256. Now, I wouldn't say they didn't do bad like last year. They're they're actually like performing well this time. Not like last
Definitely.
year where everything was going horrible for them. But Haas gotta get at least a point, man. Like,
They do. It's so it's so insane. Like there have been like how many? Currently, supposedly 21 drivers have driven in the grid because there was a replacement for Raikkonen whenever he had COVID-19. Um, there was a replacement for him. Like even his replacement, I don't really remember who actually replaced Raikkonen, but he actually got points. So like literally, Haas is the only team without points
yeah.
and they're like the last two 20 and 21st drivers on the grid that still haven't gotten points this whole year. Like everyone else has gotten points. Giovinazzi has gotten points. Raikkonen has gotten points. Russell, Latifi, all these other drivers that are considered on the lower teams has still gotten
But
points. But Haas is just not pulling it this year.
like we see Williams, they don't have that budget like for the
Oh,
cars and everything.
definitely.
And we see Williams still like at least 23 points though. But Haas
Mhm.
actually has a sponsor that they could wait, no, I don't think they have a sponsor anymore, do they?
No, I'm pretty sure they do have a sponsor. Haas is a American team, I believe, for just other racing here in the
Yeah.
United States. And
Yeah.
Haas is the investor themselves. The team is called Haas
But
Racing because of the Haas team, and
but
but
at the
yeah,
same time, like the fans of Haas tries to defend every time they can to say that they're not bad. But you can't defend them this year. How
no,
many
this
races have
year,
gone? How many races have gone and they still have 0 points? Then there's nothing you can do or say to try to say no. They could do it. They could get points. There's nothing you could do, honestly, unless they prove us wrong in these last two races, and at least get like what top 10 at least.
yeah,
But
that's the minimum requirement for points, like top 10. If at least one of them could get top 10, then maybe, like, okay, they're doing slightly better. But like even then, like no points throughout the last 20, like 17 races or so. Like that's not defendable. You can't really like Mercedes, Red Bull, consistent high placements. Has consistent last place placements. Like I don't remember the last time I saw them above like what gave it like 15 in driver positions without
you,
there being a cause like disqualification from other drivers or like just crashes in general. Like I haven't seen them higher than 15 this year. Um and then
okay, yeah,
it's
we know you guys are gonna be like, oh, your team is Red Bull, Mercedes, or whatever, just because they're good. But I don't have a team. I'm gonna be honest with you.
mhm.
He has a team. It's
I'm a
Ferrari.
Ferrari, yeah, I'm a Ferrari
They're
person.
they're doing this. They're doing decent. But I'm only saying that Haas needs to keep it up, like
Mhm.
because it's embarrassing. Williams, you see how they are. They were horrible, but they still got points than Haas.
Yeah,
Like,
they've been showing up this year, especially George Russell. George Russell doing a really good job the last few races. I forgot which race it was, but yeah, he was doing really good. He was doing really good. It was during the heavy rain. I'm pretty sure he got a really high
yeah.
placement. And once again, going back to other teams like Lando Norris, one of those drivers, one of the younger drivers, doing really good in the last few races, especially in the I forget. I always forget. But there's this one the race earlier this year where it was extremely rainy, and he decided to stay out for the track when it was raining, and it was not a good play. But still, he was able to get first place and lead that whole race, even through the rain until the last few laps where Hamilton took the lead. So like even these lower placement teams that would be thought to be like, oh, they're not so good. They're doing really good, but Haas is the only team that hasn't shown any improvements so far. And as a Ferrari fan, like that, like like they're part of Ferrari. They're sponsored by Ferrari. They have a Ferrari engine, so like
Yeah.
slightly disappointed. Like I just want them to do a little bit better. You know, just at least get like a couple points this year, and then they'll be like, okay, they did okay. They did their best. You know,
Mm.
especially with these new
But
drivers as Nikita Mazepin and Schumacher. Like they're doing really good, and just like I understand like putting pressure on somebody because of their parents' legacy is always like not such a good thing to do. But like Mick Schumacher, like he's shown some levels of improvement and some levels of pushing, but like he's not. It's kind of like it's like you want to expect more from him because of his father being Michael Schumacher, and you want him to do really
yeah.
good, but like he hasn't been doing and really much anything this year. It's kind of sad. All right, you can go
Look,
on.
but don't look. We don't hate on us. Just because we're talking the truth.
Yeah, we're
We're
just commentating on our opinions about just what's happening so far. Of course, we're always open to like shifts. We're literally just talking of the current facts. We're not really we're talking about the current facts. Just giving them our opinions, saying like how much we support this idea, support that action, support this team, support that team. Um,
No,
it's
I don't support a team. I don't care about the teams. Whoever is first place is first. He supports Ferrari. I don't have any teams. I'm fine with whoever wins. I only have a favorite player, and of course it's Daniel Ricciardo.
mhm,
But I don't have a favorite team. I'm only saying what I feel that Haas needs to do in order to get better.
mhm.
Because at least like what say like 5 points at least.
Yeah, get just a few points, and that'll make everyone happy for their performance. But like for now, like they're not doing as hot as they're supposed to be. What everyone wants them to be doing. Um, yeah,
I mean,
just
even last year they got minimum points.
yeah, they got a few tiny bits of points, but this year it's just been a whole chaos. Now, um, shifting our talk to from last year to this year to this year to the next year, new driving, new cars, new requirements, just a new car in general, like restricted budget. That the next year is going to definitely be a year to watch, especially for these lower teams where the budget is going to be cut. There's going to be a certain amount of budget you can actually put into the car. Um, so
Oh
we're going to
yeah.
see whoever can get like the better just edge on manufacturing a piece will just like get a whole advantage. Um, so this next year is definitely going to be a really important year for these smaller teams that have a lower budget compared to these larger teams who have like a lot of budget to spend on their cars. Mercedes and Ferrari, like having like the biggest car car manufacturers budget. It's just they make cars. They have a huge industry that they rely on, and they just get a bunch of money off of. So like a lot of the smaller teams like Williams, Haas don't get as much money. So that leads to that huge deficit in points and just um, car performance, and that's what leads to that this distance between points because the cars are different, the cars have different performances, and that's mostly because of the budget. But now this next year is going to have a completely different car, a limited budget, so that's just going to apply to everyone. Just like these small engineering advantages are going to lead to the win, not so much the budget of the people who are making the car.
Well, I said I don't support a team, but next year, like the team I actually like want them to do the best. I have to say, Williams.
Williams, yeah, obvious, honestly.
I
I
like
mean, next year,
they could actually like do it,
mhm,
but next year since that budget,
mhm,
I feel like um they won't do bad, but at the same time they won't do good.
mhm.
They'll just be there.
They'll be
But
like one of those center teams. Like they'll definitely
yeah,
show up a lot more because they have good drivers. But then again, like the main driver for Williams, George Russell is moving over to Mercedes because Bottas is moving over to Alfa Romeo. So there's going to be a place for a new driver who hasn't been in the sport for a while now. Alex Albon. he's going to be moving over to the new seat for Williams. So this will be interesting. We've seen a lot of improvements from Alex. We saw a lot of good driving from Alex Albon in the last few championships he was in, like 2020 and the 2021 championships. But this year he wasn't in it, so that distance between him, that experience between him driving, not actually
It's
being able
crazy.
to drive F1 cars and
It's
stuff.
crazy. He got replaced by Paris. That's crazy.
I mean, Paris was doing a really good job, and Lance. What was Lance? Mr. Stroll was bought the whole of RWT, RWB, or I don't know, BWT. There we go. It bought the whole company, or just became the biggest sponsor. So he decided to kick Checo. No. He kicked Esteban Ocon, and then there was just a whole issue. They replaced Checo, and Checo didn't have an extra year. So Red Bull was like, he seems like a really good driver, so they took him in. And Alex Albon, wasn't showing much after those few championships and stuff. So
he did perfect in the beginning of the 2 races. And then right after that, he went downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even you saw Paris even said that he was going to try to do anything he can to go into Red Bull. Or he said he didn't matter what team he wants, but he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So then, as you saw, they were looking at Paris, and Alex was going downhill, and they kept saying, Alex, you gotta not sweat, not, be
mess up in that whole issue
or everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, I mean, what happened then? He
just
fell down.
Mess ups. Mm-hmm.
He got replaced by Paris, and it came out perfect because Paris is actually doing good, too.
Yeah, doing really good for Red Bull as a team. He's been doing a lot of showings the last few years.
Red Bull hasn't regretted that decision, so of course, but there's there. Mm-hmm. But I want to actually see how Hamilton will be next year with this new partner. Mm-hmm. Because we know when there's new partners, there will always be like tensions right there. Like
new drivers, new connections.
Yeah. Someone's gonna get mad. They're gonna say to do this and this and that, and they're gonna get mad because they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. It brings back to that whole Daniel Ricciardo x Max Verstappen situation that happened in 2020 or 2019?
No,
somewhere around that area.
2018, 2019.
Yeah, that whole situation right there, where like there was just huge tensions between the two drivers.
Yep.
Really interlocking, ideas of how to drive and just aspirations to driving. Just creating this whole devastation between the two drivers and the team. That's why, they weren't doing so hot that year, and Hamilton once again won after 5 years in a row, I believe.
Well,
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's how they race, how they are, how their confidence, how they're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But they always say, you have to have confidence if you actually want to win.
Definitely.
But like Juan said, if one mistake call that will eventually messes you up, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna hate yourself. You're gonna be like, oh, why'd I do this and that? But that's what happened today in F1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hamilton
win for Hamilton, catching up to the Verstappen lead at the current Drivers' Championship. And
incredible comeback.
Incredible comeback. It was insane. If you guys did not see it, we will be leaving a lot of links in the description down below. But yeah, make sure to watch it, at least the highlights. There is super insane driving from all the drivers in the top few. It was a really good showing.
Yep.
And yeah.
But I think that covers it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I want to just say one more thing. In your opinion, who do you think will actually win this championship? And who do you want to win this whole championship? Verstappen or Hamilton? there's a lot of talk of like, oh, Verstappen is doing really good this year. He's probably going to take the cake. Or like Hamilton is still a very strong contender. There's still a chance that the king will reign for at least one more year before that whole crown is taken. What is your opinion on that? Like, do you think is there a stronger showing?
You put me
Huh?
on the spot right here. You put me on the spot.
Yeah. I gotta put you on the spot. What is like one last opinion
Okay.
until before we close this whole thing?
So I'll be honest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say who I want, to win,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know what's gonna happen. Someone could have, all of a sudden, Verstappen gets more points than, Hamilton. Like something happens to Hamilton or whatever. But if I really have to make a decision,
Mm-hmm.
I have to say Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because I mean, who has, how do I say this? Who has been from 10th place to first place, like at the end right there?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't I have that's I it's not impossible,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have that thought in your mind, like I need to get in first place.
Yeah.
And Hamilton right now has been crazy this year. You saw he passed a record
Oh
of
yeah,
the
the most
most.
one of wins. Yeah, this
Yeah,
the last year. Yeah.
you saw he's in first place, but now
Mm-hmm.
Verstappen. I wouldn't say he's not doing bad. He's actually doing
He is
great
doing really
too.
insane. Like they're both
Like,
doing really good this year. Like it's a super close championship. Like as we said in the beginning, 14 points between the two drivers. Like 14 points, three races literally could swap in only one singular race if like the placements are 1 and 4. You
yes,
know,
yes.
super close showings. Like these drivers are the top of the top, but someone has to come the victor. And in your opinion, it's Hamilton.
I have to say Hamilton. Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, same thing. Like he's a 7-time world championship winner. Like the only other person to have ever had 7 wins was Michael Schumacher, one of the best drivers of all time. And then close to third is Juan Manuel Fangio, the Argentinian, who won all the way back in the early ages of F1. And like the only people who've gotten near that are like who gone 4 championships and 3 championships and lower. Not really anyone has gotten to that 7 reigning championship record except for Michael Schumacher. So like Hamilton is really up there as one of the best drivers of all time. And we just it's one of those things like you want to root for the rookie. Like he's been doing very well this year, Max Verstappen. But then again, like Hamilton always shows a very big push whenever it comes to the last few races. Like he's just one of those drivers that will just keep fighting until the end, and he will just catch a way to just bring that championship back into his hands and get the crown for another year. And in my opinion, I really do want Hamilton to get that crown one more time, at least one more time, to get that 8th championship under his belt before he actually eventually retires, to just take the crown as like the best driver of all time. But yeah, it's still too early. I mean, there's still 3 races, still like 90 points that could be handed to anyone at any point. So that would be really close. You can't really tell. Just it's like up to your preferences or up to the curse that we're gonna set onto the drivers, because that's the thing. You can set a curse on somebody by saying you want them to win and then they lose. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
But hopefully that doesn't happen.
yeah,
All right.
but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Hamilton. That's People are gonna hate us for that, and you know that.
Yeah,
But
no, definitely. But
but like they said, it's our opinion. If you don't like it, well, you could go kiss
yeah,
our ass. No,
yeah, no. Just like if you have any differencing opinions, like in the comments down below, like give out your opinions. We want to hear what you want to say. Definitely, uh, give your favorite team. Like show some support. Leave a like, in the comment section. Maybe like say who your favorite team is, and
give us your honest opinion on Haas, okay? Like I really want to
yeah.
see what's your opinion on Haas.
Like 3 things that you should leave in the comment section today. opinion on Haas. Who do you think is closer to winning this championship, Verstappen or Hamilton, and who your favorite team is, and maybe give a reason why. Just to bring in some action in the comments down below, and we'll be reading through it. We'll be seeing how it goes. And yeah, that'll be it for today's little podcast. I mean, I enjoyed it. Did you?
I mean, yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? This first podcast, and
Yeah, third podcast. Definitely, I really enjoyed it. I really do enjoy talking about F1, especially when it comes into, who's going to win, what's happening at the moment, who won, who lost, and it's a whole thing. I love talking about opinions and stuff, especially when it comes to F1.
Yep.
And it's really fun to talk with you, Gustavo, because we're very good. We're very into the F1 scene at the moment. Probably the two most F1 fans in our friend group. So it's just fun to talk about F1 with you, because beforehand I never had anyone to talk to about that. But yeah, here we are.
I mean, that's why we're making this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That way, whatever happens, we could just talk about it. See what the group chat, the chats, the comments, what they want to say, because us personally, we like to see what you guys' opinions are. If you guys disagree with us, agree with us, but yeah, I mean, hopefully we can still keep going with this podcast. See what happens on the last 2 races, and see who wins.
Yeah, we'll definitely try our best to keep on track with this podcast system. I'll be releasing this on Monday, which should be, the day you're viewing this is definitely a Monday. Probably the Monday after the race. So yeah, that'll be it. We'll try our best to record these on the day of the race, and then air them the day after, so you guys can get some opinions going, get some comments going about the race, and just help grow the community of F1, because it's going on the roll right now. A lot of people joining more and more F1. And if you don't know what F1 is, well, it's you stayed in this podcast for a really long time without knowing what F1 was and just hearing us rant about it. So you should probably go do a little bit of research on it. Watch the document series, or just a show on Netflix called F1 Drive to Survive. Definitely a good show to watch. Or if you want to, you can just straight up go to F1 Formula One, search it up on YouTube or on Google, and just do your own research and just watch some of the highlights, watch some of the commentary from the live shows and stuff. So yeah. That'll be it for this little podcast episode.
Yep.
Maybe we'll bring in a guest next time. We'll see. Maybe if one of our friends, like maybe Randall or somebody else, wants to join in, give a little bit of speak to the actual podcast.
We're gonna be arguing about us, but
Yeah, definitely.
I know people will love it.
Yeah, they love the arguments. Especially when it comes to Randall, who just loves to scream. So that'll definitely add spice. Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for watching this new segment. I guess we can call it F1 with Gustavo and Juan.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
We're just coming up with a cool name.
Yeah, eventually. But for now, it's F1 with F1 Talk with Juan and Gustavo. Just gotta give it a normal name. All right, Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like down below, hitting the subscribe button to be notified, and hitting that bell to be notified when new videos come out, especially these podcast episodes. We'll try our best to get them on time, 12 p.m. Pacific, hopefully, if I do stay on that track. Make sure to check out my stuff in the description down below. This is definitely going on the Famously Unpopular podcast channel. So maybe check out all the stuff on this channel. There's a lot of good content here. I do recommend it. And Gustavo, you want anything linked in for you?
Nope.
No? All right.
Nope.
Just leave likes for Gustavo, because Gustavo loves likes. So yeah, leave a like on the video for Gustavo, and check out fair. And just keep in check with all the links in the description down below, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast episode of F1 Talks with Juan and Gustavo. Bye-bye, everyone.
See you guys.